This is what happened to my first compost pile. Slimy, smelly, and absolutely useless for my garden. In fact, it was toxic to my plants. But this is what I'm making today. Dark, crumbly, and it smells like a forest floor. The difference? I stopped making 3 critical mistakes, and in just 7 days, I turned my failing compost around. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those mistakes are, and more importantly, how to fix them, using simple materials you probably already have. Let's dive in. I've been composting for over 20 years, and I've made every mistake in the book. The moldy pile, the rat-attracting nightmare, the heap that just never broke down. Here's what most people don't tell you. Bad compost doesn't just fail, it can actually harm your garden. Anaerobic bacteria create toxins. Unbalanced materials lock up nitrogen instead of releasing it. And yes, pests and diseases can survive if conditions aren't right. So getting this right isn't just about saving money on bagged compost. It's about protecting everything you're growing. Let's fix it. Mistake number 1, the drowning effect. Too many greens, not enough browns. Or more accurately, too much moisture and nitrogen, with no carbon to balance it out. Here's what happens. You toss in grass clippings, kitchen scraps, vegetable peelings, all those fresh, wet materials pile up. They compact down, squeeze out all the oxygen, and boom. You've got a slimy, stinking, anaerobic mess. This is not compost. This is basically plant sewage. And trust me, your tomatoes do not want this anywhere near them. Healthy compost needs a ratio of about 25 to 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. That's your browns to greens ratio. Browns are things like dried leaves, cardboard, straw, wood chips. They're dry and woody. Greens are fresh grass, kitchen scraps, coffee grounds. They're wet and nitrogen rich. Most beginners load up on greens because, well, that's what comes out of your kitchen daily. But without enough browns to absorb that moisture and balance the nitrogen, you get that slimy mess. Here's how I fixed mine in just 2 days. Step 1. Add browns immediately. I grabbed torn-up cardboard, dried leaves I'd saved from fall, and some old straw. For every bucket of slimy material, I added 2 buckets of browns. Yes, 2. You need to overcorrect at first to soak up all that excess moisture. Step 2. Mix it thoroughly. I used a pitchfork and literally turned the entire pile. Got oxygen back in there. Broke up the compacted layers. Within 48 hours, the smell was gone. Within a week, the whole thing was heating up properly, breaking down beautifully. Going forward, here's your simple rule. Every time you add 1 layer of greens, add 2 layers of browns. Keep a stockpile of browns nearby. I keep torn cardboard in a bag, dried leaves in a bin. That way, when you dump kitchen scraps, you can immediately cover them with browns. It's that simple. And here's a bonus tip. Coffee grounds, they look brown, but they're actually a green. High nitrogen content. So treat them like grass clippings, not like dried leaves. This trips up a lot of people. Mistake number 2, the locked fortress. Your compost is too dry, too compacted, or you've got chunks that are way too big. Result? Nothing happens for months. You peek under the lid and it looks exactly the same as when you started. It's like the microorganisms are on strike. Composting is a biological process. Billions of tiny microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, they're the ones breaking everything down. But they need 3 things to work: moisture, oxygen, and the right size of materials. If your pile is too dry, the microbes can't move, can't multiply, can't function. If it's too compacted, or if you've thrown in whole branches, full corn cobs, there's not enough surface area for them to attack. Think about it this way. Would you rather eat a giant watermelon whole, or have it cut into bite-sized pieces? Same thing for microbes. Part 1. Check moisture. Grab a handful of your compost and squeeze it. It should feel like a wrung-out sponge. Damp, but not dripping. If it's dry and dusty, add water. Spray it down with a hose as you turn it. If water runs out when you squeeze, too wet, add more browns to absorb it. Part 2. Break things down. Before adding materials, chop them up. I run my lawnmower over fallen leaves, shreds them perfectly. I cut up kitchen scraps into smaller pieces, especially things like broccoli stalks, corn cobs, melon rinds. The smaller the pieces, the faster they break down. Simple as that. Part 3. Turn your pile. At least once every 2 to 3 weeks, mix everything up with a pitchfork or garden fork. This reintroduces oxygen, redistributes moisture, and brings the outer materials to the center where it's hotter. After I started doing this consistently, my compost time went from 6 months down to about 8 weeks. Huge difference. Mistake number 3. The pest buffet. You're attracting rats, raccoons, flies, or all of the above because you're adding the wrong materials. This was actually my husband's biggest fear when I wanted to start composting. He said, and I quote, "We're going to have vermin everywhere." And you know what? I almost proved him right, because I made this exact mistake. Here's the rule. If it came from an animal, don't put it in a backyard compost pile. That means no meat, no bones, no dairy, no cheese, no butter, no cooked foods that have oils or fats, and no grains like bread, pasta, or rice, even though they're plant-based. Why? Because all of these create strong smells as they break down, and that smell is like a dinner bell for rats and raccoons. Plus, meat and dairy can harbor pathogens that don't get destroyed unless your compost reaches really high temperatures consistently. Most backyard piles, they don't get hot enough. Also skip anything with pesticides or herbicides. Treated lumber sawdust, grass clippings from a lawn that was just sprayed. Those chemicals can persist in your compost and then end up in your vegetable garden. Not good. And here's one that surprises people. Pet waste. Dog poop. Cat litter. No. Just no. Those can carry parasites and pathogens that don't break down safely in home composting systems. Stick to herbivore manure only. Chicken, horse, cow, rabbit? Great. Carnivore waste? Not safe. Step 1. Clean house. If you've already added meat, dairy, or cooked foods, you need to remove them. Yes, it's gross. Dig them out carefully, put them in a sealed bag, and throw them in the trash. Step 2. Cover your pile. I use an old tarp to cover mine, especially in winter when things get wet. This keeps smells contained and makes it less obvious to pests. Step 3. Bury kitchen scraps. Don't just toss veggie scraps on top of the pile. Dig a little hole in the center, bury them, then cover with browns. Out of sight, out of smell, out of mind for critters. Step 4. Add a nitrogen boost the right way. Want to speed things up without attracting pests? Coffee grounds are fantastic. So are crushed eggshells, though they take forever to break down. And here's one that gets laughs, but it works. Human urine. Yes, seriously, it's sterile when it leaves your body, high in nitrogen, and it's a free compost accelerator. Just please pee discreetly. You don't want to upset the neighbors. Here's one more thing that transformed my composting game. Starter Brown's stockpile. Every fall, I rake up as many leaves as I can and stuff them into old compost bags or bins. I also keep a box of torn-up cardboard in my garage. That way, during spring and summer, when I'm generating tons of greens from the garden and kitchen, I've always got browns ready to go. No scrambling, no guessing. Just layer, mix, done. This one habit has made composting completely effortless for me. So let's recap. Mistake 1. Too many greens. Fix. Add double the browns. Mistake 2. Dry, compacted, or too large materials. Fix. Moisture check. Chop smaller. Turn regularly. Mistake 3. Wrong materials attracting pests. Fix. No animal products, bury scraps, cover pile. Follow these 3 fixes, and in as little as 6 to 8 weeks, you'll have gorgeous, crumbly, nutrient-rich compost. The kind that makes your plants absolutely explode with growth. No more buying expensive bags from the garden center. No more wondering why your tomatoes aren't thriving. Just beautiful, dark, earthy compost made from your own yard and kitchen waste. Now, here's my question for you. Which of these 3 mistakes are you making right now? Drop a comment and let me know. 1, 2, or 3. And if you found this helpful, please hit that like button so I know to make more composting content. I've got videos coming up on small space composting for apartment balconies, how to use your finished compost for maximum plant growth, and even troubleshooting weird compost problems like strange smells or pests. So subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss those. Thanks so much for watching and happy gardening. I'll see you in the next one.